All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dig into a really famous biblical story about a miraculous healing, but we're going to look at it through the lens of a mystery. One pastor argues that if you know where to look, this story reveals something way deeper than just a physical cure.
So, the pastor we're drawing from treats this whole thing less like a miracle story and more like, well, a mystery that needs to be solved. And just like any good mystery, the biggest clues are right there at the beginning and at the very end. They form this kind of framework that makes all the details in the middle just snap into place.
So let's jump in, let's follow the clues laid out in this interpretation, and see where this whole thing takes us.
Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start with the mystery itself, then look at the framework holding it all together. From there, we'll dive into what this new healing really means, tackle the huge idea of believing without seeing, and wrap it all up with the power of a single word.
All right, first things first, let's set the stage. This story comes from the 4th chapter of the Gospel of John.
You know, at its core, this is an incredibly human and desperate story. You've got this powerful man, a high-ranking official who finds himself completely and totally helpless. His son is dying, so he drops everything and sets out on a journey to find the one person he thinks might actually be able to help.
Okay, now for that framework we talked about, the key here, according to this analysis, is that this event doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Nope, it's deliberately connected to a previous miracle.
And just look at the parallels here. The text goes out of its way to call this the second sign that happened in Cana. The first sign, turning water into wine, was all about revealing Jesus as the true bridegroom. So that kind of sets you up, right? It makes you think, okay, so what truth is this second sign supposed to reveal about who he is?
And the stakes here are really high. This guy wasn't just any official. The original Greek is basilikos, a royal official. That means he worked for King Herod Antipas, a ruler who was famous for treating miracles like they were some kind of entertainment. That's the world this guy comes from.
And get this, that was the distance he traveled, from his home in Capernaum all the way to Cana. On foot, we're talking a journey of a day, maybe two. It just screams desperation. He had clearly tried every other option he had.
So what is this healing really about? Well, the sermon argues that this isn't just about a physical cure. It's about a new kind of healing. And it breaks this down into 3 key ideas.
The core idea here is that the story is really one big metaphor. The son's condition, being at the point of death, is meant to represent humanity's spiritual state. That makes the miracle a powerful symbol of a totally new kind of healing that's available to everyone.
First, this new healing is found in Jesus alone. Just think about it for a second. This official had money, he had connections, he would have tried everything the world had to offer, the best doctors, the best medicine. He only comes to Jesus as his absolute last resort, when all his power and wealth prove totally useless against death.
Second, the healing comes through personal presence. A man of his status could have easily just sent a servant, but the situation was too dire. His love for his son was too great. He came himself. And the sermon draws a parallel here to the idea that God didn't just send messengers, but came personally to humanity.
And third, and this is absolutely crucial, the healing happens by the power of his word alone. The official begs Jesus to come down to his house, but Jesus doesn't. He heals from 20 miles away with a single sentence. This one detail changes everything.
This right here is the pivot point of the whole story. It's a direct showdown between that very human desire for proof and the call to simply believe. When the official makes his desperate plea, this is Jesus' response. But according to the source, the you here is plural. Jesus isn't just talking to the Father. He's addressing the whole crowd that's gathered around, the people who just came looking for a spectacle, for a show.
But the official isn't there for a show. He's there for his son. He cuts right through the theological challenge with his desperate plea, and he calls Jesus Sir. Now, in the original Greek, that word is Kyrie. For a royal official to call someone else Kyrie, Lord, is a profound act of submission. And this is the moment of truth. Instead of giving the crowd the big, flashy miracle they came to see, Jesus gives the Father only his word. No magic, no ceremony, just a promise. The sermon uses a really powerful analogy to describe what the official does next. It's like a trust fall. You know that exercise where you have to fall backward, trusting that people you can't even see are going to catch you? So here's the crucial point. The man hears the word, he believes the word, and then he acts on it. His belief wasn't just some internal feeling. If he didn't truly believe, he would have kept begging. Instead, he turned around and started the long walk home.
That action was the proof of his faith.
Finally, let's look at the confirmation of the miracle and the incredible ripple effect that this one act of trust created.
On his way home, the official servants meet him with the good news. He asks them when the boys started to recover, and they say, "Yesterday at the 7th hour." He knew that was the exact moment Jesus had spoken those words. The source also notes that the number 7 is biblically significant, often representing divine perfection or completion.
And this is where it all comes together. The man's belief, which started with just a word, is now confirmed by the evidence. But his household? They only believe because he tells them the full story. His faith, born without seeing, spreads to his entire family through his testimony.
And so, this interpretation of the story leaves us with a really powerful question. The crowd wanted to see a sign before they would believe. The official had to believe before he could see the sign. It forces us to ask, does genuine faith depend on physical proof, or is it fundamentally about trusting the word you've been given?